So this podcast can be summarized into several categories. I'll break it down for you. Number one, setting the proper job descriptions within a company. Number two, creating an employee handbook. 3, from 0 to 100. 4, media placement strategy. And 5, becoming somewhat of a vegetarian. So for 4 years now, we've been running a company without the proper job roles, descriptions, titles for any of our employees. We've always told them that this was their goal, this is what they had to do, this is what they had to do it, this is how they had to do it. But we never properly identified what it is that they should be doing during that role. So what we're doing, and I'll show you a little bit more about it tomorrow, but what we're going to be doing is actually redefining the strategies and giving them an actual job title. We've created an entire map that allocates and shows what each person needs to do, who they are in charge of, who are they talking to as a superior, and then a definitive job description for each and every single person. So let me just rattle some of them off for you. Apprentice graphic designer, content writer, lead developer, lead graphic designer, marketing assistant, marketing manager, relationship manager, just to name a few. And now what we're doing is we're giving each of these roles to the individual person. We've thought long and hard about all of these job descriptions, who makes the most sense for what, based off of the criteria, one, but also based off of the past understanding and knowledge of that actual employee. So we're really excited to give these new job descriptions to our current staff, and it's gonna give them the ability to understand their role, but also it's gonna allow us the ability to properly communicate and move the ball forward when it comes to building this company. So we're separating into two things. We're separating a creative team and a revenue team. The creative team is obviously going to be in charge of all the design. The revenue team is going to be in charge of sales. And that's just not sales, which is like a cold call or cold email. That's a whole separate conversation, but more so getting the message out there, building strong relationships with the community, building strong relationships with who would inevitably use our product. Secondly, we have an employee handbook. Sounds really cheesy, however, it is so needed. An employee handbook is going to be able to define what your company is, what your initiatives are, how you're doing it, what you're doing, what is your why. Your people are able to read your why and understand your why. So as you talk to your team and talk to your potential customers and customers, they will be able to speak the same languages as you do, which is something that we've never done before. So we're creating an employee handbook. We're able to identify, things such as working schedule, allocation of resources, what they need to do in certain situations. We're still a relatively small team, so we don't have like this dedicated HR department, or we don't have a dedicated finance department and things like that. However, this handbook is they're going to be able to read and kind of use as their Bible and our Bible in order for future employees. So as we grow, they'll know how important we are about our business because we've made these guidelines already. Probably my favorite topic to talk about, which is going from
0 to 100 real quick.
As you know, sales is the most difficult, treacherous. I mean, we can go on and on about how hard sales actually is, but we're looking at it from the perspective of how can we go from 0 to 100. We're well on our way and we're doing a great job. We need to be able to go faster. So we've created a lot of strategies, some things I've already just discussed before, but what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to segment our marketing strategy into 3 demographics, which would be printers, marketing teams. We're also using a ton of cold email strategies, a little bit of cold calling strategies. Honestly, I don't necessarily care how we're able to get the first 100. yes, we're going to take unconventional ways that probably aren't scalable, like having meetings and doing cold calling and just talking to old friends on social media and things like that. However, we feel that we're going to be able to scale once we're able to obtain that 100. And honestly, that's all that matters to me, is obtaining the first 100 customers. A couple of other strategies that we're using is we're going to be using webinars and an email newsletter. We have a ton of emails that we've just been collecting over the years. I think it's somewhere in the upwards of like 20,000. So we're going to be creating a really badass newsletter and a webinar series. So I actually made a post. Actually, here it is right here. I made the post on Facebook a couple days ago, and I got a ton of people that are interested in educating. And that's kind of what Penji is. Not only is it an amazing platform in order to obtain design from a dependable service at a flat monthly cost, but we're also trying to educate the next generation of our workforce. And we're going to be doing that through webinars and through other educational series. So I'm really excited to announce that. So another thing that I'm also excited about is a media placement strategy, which what we're doing is I'm going through and I've actually created an entire document filled with the best podcasters, websites that are affiliated with design and marketing and branding and things like that. And what we're doing is creating this entire document and writing their contact information, their email, what they look for, and then I'm going through each and every one of these podcasts and finding individual people that I know or that they've already interviewed. And to those people that I already know that they've interviewed, I'm gonna simply ask for an introduction. So the last thing that I wanna inform you and update you on is this new initiative of becoming somewhat of a vegetarian. I wouldn't say I'm like 100% vegetarian, however, I can say that I significantly cut down on my consumption of meat. And honestly, to those of you who have thought about it, to those of you who think it's crazy, I'm a guy who thought I was relatively educated about food. And I thought that I would have to look to people like The Rock and as you know, I'm a big WWE fan, but I always thought that I would have to eat meat in order to get the proper resources and proteins in order to become, bulky and big. And that's so not true. So every morning I would always eat 2 eggs. I would cook it, put some rice, maybe a little bit of sriracha, some avocado, call it a day. But what would happen is that I would just feel like crap in the beginning of the day. So then what I did was I switched it. I switched it to oats. And so now, for the most part, every single day I eat oats, peanut butter, some type of fruit, cinnamon, and flaxseed. And I feel lighter, I feel more agile, I feel better, my stomach isn't killing me. And then from there, I kind of slowly transition to other things. So lunches and dinners and things like that. And I can confidently say that being vegetarian for the most part has been a life-changing experience and an eye-opening experience at that. However, I don't think I can become full vegetarian because number one, I absolutely love nachos with any type of meat. And number two, chicken wings are easily one of the best foods on the planet. And how can you get rid of at least one of those two? So what I'm about to do is extremely dangerous. Don't try this at home if you have a drone. However, I have about like 16-foot ceilings, and I figured, why the heck not, right? It's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna show you how I cook, what I do when I get home. So enjoy. So the real reason why I wanted to do that, I mean, yeah, that was cool, but I feel like it's kind of getting old with all the Camden videos. So In the comment section, feel free and let me know. Did you like the drone shot? Do you like the drone shots of Camden? Do you want to see something a little bit different? Feel free, voice your opinions, and I'll see what I can do. Again, guys, thanks for always liking, commenting, and subscribing. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to follow me on any and all social media platforms using the long last name above, followed by the letter J. If you want to get lost into the dark abyss of YouTube, click either left or right for another video. And finally, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. No, seriously, don't forget.